It's been a couple of days since I've been able to post any videos on this guitar effects pedal case, and in the meantime I've gone ahead and I've finished the modeling and I've done a lot of the texturing as well. So what we'll do is I'll try to catch you up in the modeling in this video, and in the next video I'll show you the textures and I will talk about how I created some of the textures as well. But right now you can see the case. At times I think about putting stuff in here, and there's a small chance I will do this, but I do have other projects that I need to get to. So what I've got is I've got 4 basic foot pedals here. I think previously this third one was a little bit different, had different knobs, and I decided with the unwrapping and the texturing and all that I would keep 3 of these with the same basic form, but they're going to have different colors and there'll be different, functions, different foot pedals, like a phaser, a distortion, and a chorus or something like that. Whether or not the dials make sense for that type of pedal, I'm not too worried about that. And then I went ahead and I did this one, which is the Equalizer, and all I really did was I took this pedal here. I'll just show you real quickly. I took that pedal and I went into edit mode and I got rid of, see, I've even got these unwrapped. So at any rate, I got rid of the dials there. I will set my cursor there, and then I wanted to make some indents, so I just brought in a plane, scaled it appropriately, something like this. Really easy stuff. All right, let's focus on that. I'm going to take this edge, and I'm going to press Shift Control B, pull to bevel, and I rounded it off something like this. Okay, this may not be exactly the same. I'm going to extrude that up. So I had that piece. Over in the modifiers, add an array in the X, separate it out a bit, and give myself a bunch of these, let's say like that. And maybe I can come in here and I'll just take this thing and just move it forward out of the way for the moment. All right, take these and push them in. So obviously I'm going to do a Boolean here. It's going to be rather destructive. So I came over here to the main body, add a Boolean, drag it to the top, and select here. And let's see if that worked. All right, so I have some cuts, and it's not too bad. And then what I did is I came in here and I selected all of the edges, and sometimes you'd have to make multiple selections. I'm not going to do all of them. I'll just do that, and Control B, bevel with 3 or 4 segments, and I would have this. I left in the bottom piece so that I could darken that, put a black color here. I didn't want it open, a black color, so it would sort of look like a hole. So that would be the Equalizer. All right, all the chords are connected. A few extra pieces in here with some guitar picks. This style, I just took one of these and I took the cylinder off, so it was just a straight up and down, and connected it here between the tuner and this piece. And you'll notice, by the way, I've got everything organized as well. All right, so this, I called this the power supply, this one and this one. I'll talk about how I organize them in a bit. For the wah-wah, or crybaby is actually the one that I felt that I did. Pretty much the same, I think. Well, maybe they're not, but all right, so let's just come over here and do something in basic in general. All right, so let's say that's it. Okay, so I took that and I extruded down, but then I also flared it out a little bit like that. All right, and I flared it out more in the front than anywhere else, so a little bit like that. All right, and then I took this and actually I'll take it this way. Actually, let's flip that. I took this and I'd inset a little bit and then extrude down. You can get rid of that bottom face if you want, sort of for another piece that may not be long enough. And so I did that. And I'll take this piece, Shift D, duplicate, I'll bring it up, and I believe I scaled it a little bit like that. So I'll start with that. I'll give it a bit of thickness, just like that. Now, those are both joined. Okay, so let's bevel. So grab the edges here, and I'll check and make sure everything's flipped the right way. So this one, actually, before I do that, this edge I believe I pulled back a little bit, and I may have pulled this one forward a little bit. Okay, we'll just keep going with that. Grab these edges here. All right, and then Control B to bevel, pull. I'm going to use 5. And then this one, I'll just do that one separate. I'll use 3. That. And then grab these ones. Just take the whole thing, and yeah, okay. So we have that so far. So I am actually going to move this down and back a little bit. Let me go something like that. And maybe I do need to move this forward a little bit. So I'm going to be angling it up in a moment. And then the other thing I did then was I put these on. So real quick, we'll do that. So let's focus in on that. Okay, let's scale that in the Y. And we'll go like this. Okay, something like that. Okay, let's grab the front edge and the back edge and Shift Control B and pull just around them like that, let's say. And I will come up so I don't have to flip them. Although I did get rid of the bottom face. So I'll do that, do it like that. I will get rid of the bottom face. And I'll flip them. And then just take this and take the top and Control B like that. Okay. Let's pull that down, and then let's find a position for these, and then use the array. Let's say I did 7. Okay, say I did that. Maybe I'll have them come further down at the back a little bit. Okay, I'm going to apply the array, and I'm going to join all that. So I had that, and then all I did was let's just set the origin to geometry, and then I just used the taper filter here, or a simple deform taper in the Y. I just didn't use too much, just a little bit. Give it a bit of a curve like that. Okay. Let's say I'm happy. I'm going to apply that. I'm going to come in here. I'm going to box select a little bit of that. Control L. I better get all this. And then I'm going to come back here and select something pretty much at the end there. Maybe that. Shift S cursor to selected. And set that as my pivot. Let's move it down a little bit. I'm going to do that again. And then looking from the side, just rotate it up. Join those again. Weighted normal and normal's auto smooth, and then come in here, bring in a circle or a cylinder. I'll go for 22A. You could go for less than that. let's set that back to medium point. Okay, so I got that. So now I'm going to come up. I'm going to come in and come up a little ways. Come up like that. Out. And up. Like that. And then we'll do some beveling with 3. And here, just roll your mouse up a bit and do some thread. I'll scroll this back to 2. E and Alt S, and I guess pull. Control 1, and an edge loop here, and an edge loop here. And a couple more edge loops, and we're done. Slash key to focus on that. Pretty much like that. Here we go. Scale Shift Z and position that where you actually don't want it to touch. I'm going to scale it in the Z. I'll scale Shift Z, make it a little smaller, and bring it down. So you actually want it there. So in that case, I guess I do have to finish the top off. So F and Control B, like that. Roughly like that. All right, so that's how I did the wah-wah or the crybaby, and I just took the inputs or outputs and slapped them on the side as well. Okay, so that's that. Let's get rid of that. And then we have a tuner here, and then again, it's the same kind of, process. I'll select here. I'll show you a little bit of that. I'll just bring my 3D cursor to there. Okay, so I can be a little closer. So I brought in a plane. I mean, you can start with a cube. I tend to always do this stuff with planes for some reason. All right. No, not that. So I've got that. Take that edge and slide it out. All right. And give it some thickness coming down, let's say. Flip it. And let's just go ahead and do this. Just bevel. I'll do 5, and I'll bevel this with 3. Okay, and in this one I've got a cut, so I'll just bring that in. Control B, get space there, and pull that in, and then bevel it. That. Okay, take the inputs or outputs from somewhere else, and then I just booleaned it. So I will show you a bit of that. It's a bit messy, I realize that, but it takes its texture. Okay, so I'll just do this. All right, we'll make ourselves a little screen here. Okay, so I'm going to Shift Control B to bevel these pieces there. 3. I'll actually do 5 to make it a little smoother, and I'll extrude it up. So this is going to be our cutting tool, so we can go ahead and do that. Push that in, and then select here and do Boolean and select this piece and apply. And I'm going to get rid of it. You could save it to make the screen, but I'll take that and just pull it up a little bit. And then Shift Alt and click these edges. You may have to click a number of times. Get rid of that. And that. You can always take this and pull it in a little bit. And bevel. To get that kind of effect. Okay, I'll fix the shading in a minute. Okay, that gives you that. Because I'm going to be cutting into this a bit more, and I took these pieces here like this, okay, I'll take this one and I'll Shift Control B and round that, Give it some thickness and pull it in like that. And I'll just make it a little smaller. I'm just going to pull it to there. Okay, and down a little further. Shift D to duplicate. So I got a couple of those. They weren't quite that big, but I'll go ahead with that. And we'll do something like that. All right, took that. Do a Boolean on this. Okay, so we have that. Let's take this and let's merge by distance just in case. We could try bevel modifier. We'll sort of clean it up a little bit. And we can try arc, see if it matters. Shade smooth. Okay, you get a little bit of a bevel on there. And everything else is basically Booleans. All right, I'll just do one or two more. Say these. Maybe those. I'll do the circles. All right, it's very obvious. You could use a cylinder for this with a reasonable number of vertices if you want a nice hole. All right, so I got something like that and that. Okay, they're both there and ready to go. I just don't need them that deep. Something like this. So take the case again. I've got a bevel on there. I'm going to make a Boolean. I'll just drag it above and do that and apply. And I'll take these and I'm going to switch over to individual origins and then S, and I'll scale them independently as Z. And what I would probably do is get rid of these bottom faces. Take that and rotate X 180 to flip them around again. Put them in. And then take the tops, and I could just bevel them back with however many, shade smooth, and I can come in here and I can just scale them a bit and maybe pull them up, something like that. Okay, and when I'm done, I would then just come over here, and if I needed to, I would add the weighted normal and normal's auto smooth. And that's basically how I did the tuner. Alright, so that is pretty much it for the modeling, aside from anything else that I decide to do here. And I'm not sure that I'm going to do any more. So that brings us up to date, I think, in the modeling. We're done with the modeling. The next thing, of course, is unwrapping. And I've done most of that. I can show you a couple of pieces unwrapped. It's just sort of trial and error, although really it worked on the first go for me. Substance Painter can be pretty forgiving depending on what you're trying to do. If all you're doing is coloring things, putting on noises and some text and some wear and tear on it, it's pretty good. If you want to do some fancy artwork on there and your UV islands are all over the place, you can run into some trouble, and then you have to unwrap pretty carefully. Although I did straighten out pretty much most of my UVs anyhow. So we'll have a look at some of that in the next video. All right, so that's going to be it for this musical instrument for the Blender Challenge, for the modeling phase. And in the next video, we'll look at the materials and or textures, and I will get to some final renders either in that video or in the next one. And that will be it for my submission to this Blender Challenge. I look forward to seeing some of your stuff on the Zero Bio Discord. I'll leave you a link in the description. And whether or not you're in the challenge, come on over to the Discord and see what people have been up to anyhow. And we'll get back to you very soon. Take care.